Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good night, everyone. I want to tell about front end, back end, and API. Front end and back end are two things related to how a website or application can work and be accessed by users. Regarding the web development process, front end, I want users see on the appearance of a website, uh, while the back end is a behind the scenes system that processes database and servers. The front end is often referred to as the client side, and the back end is called the server side. Full stack developer, whereas if only on the one of them uh, can be called front end one. How the front and back end work in a principle. The front end works to ensure that the site or application is visible to the user. They are responsible so that user can get information to interact with the site or web comfortably. The text makes the front end ultimately focus on uh, competition within the site or application. Mm. He must ensure that the content of the site or application, such as image, button, content, and so on, does does not does not interfere with the user comfort. Meanwhile, the back-end developer is responsible for ensuring that the site or application can work as well as possible. Uh, with this task, the back-end must ensure that all systems on the site or application can work. He must consider the risks that may be present. For example, he has to think about where site or application content is stored, whether whether the data will be saved to if the user exceeds the maximum capacity. Uh, to become a front-end developer, you need basic skill in the following. Their programming language: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Uh, these three capabilities are important because they form the basic for creating a site or application. HTML and CSS are the basic programming language used to build site or application. Meanwhile, JavaScript was chosen because this programming language is able to create interactive elements such as menus or forms. In addition to the two programming languages, to become a front-end requires the ability to manage frameworks and libraries. To frequently used courses are Angular JavaScript, which is used to develop applications, and React JavaScript, which is used to build user interface. On the other hand, back-end developers are required to be present in programming language that will be displayed on the server side of the set or application. The most popular back-end programming languages are PHP, Ruby, and Python. In addition, the back-end must also master the use of software such as MySQL, Oracle, and SQL Server. This software is important for them to master because PAP is used for database-based development, similar to the front end. The back end and also requires the ability to use framework and libraries. In general, comments require the ability to use experts. Uh, Front-end developers start work after the UI designer finishes the design. If there are no changes, this design, which is usually uploaded sketch, will be directly applied by the front end to HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. designs that have been moved by the front end will be managed by the back end. The back end will determine the instruction to be executed by this set or application. The role will be heavy because there should be no logical errors in very introduced mode. Short study, but in fact some companies do not have a requirement that a person must master this to a position. Apart from that, Carol Foundry has an idea of whether it is necessary to study both. If the developer is concerned has front-end skills, he is not required to be proficient and running the back-end. The same is true the other way around. There are also companies that require candidates to at least understand a role. They are because each role is not burden each other, but instead of text and when developing application for applicants, it will be better if you focus on one role. If you are interested in design and creating the best user experience, try working on the front end. In contrast to the back end, if you are interested in data use creation, the best user experience, try working on the front end. In contrast to the back end, if you are interested in data, use conjoint algorithms to solve problems and optimize complex systems. You might be better suited to work as a back end. Well, if you feel like you like these tools, maybe you should try to become a full stack developer. Even so, again, this goes back to company policy. The reason is there are companies that specifically defeat developer into the parts front end, back end, and full stack. That's the difference between the two are those of you who want to aspire to become a developer. To realize your dream of become a developer, of course, you need to learn in the right place. Smixiticom Indonesia Stick, which is an IT campus in Bali, is ready to help you making happen. Stick Indonesia, with a private campus Bali in Bali, how to study programs, namely in engineering and computer system. Of course, the two study programs are the right dream of become a developer or IT professional. In addition, Sticky Indonesia even took its campus culture-based curriculum explaining Balinese culture. What is the API? API stands for Application Programming Interface. API itself an interface that can connect one application with another application. In other words, the role of the API is as an intermediary between uh, various different applications, but within the same platform or cross platform. An example that can be used to explain API is a waiter in a restaurant. Restaurant. The waiter's job is to connect the restaurant guests with the with the cook. Sorry. So we simple order for according to the existing menu list, and the waiter informs the cook. Later, the waiter will return to the guest with the food that is ready to order. That is the concern of the test of the API in application development. Furthermore, the API itself can be used for communication with a variety of different programming languages. This accounts for the of developer. In fact, developers don't need to provide all the data themselves because just need to retrieve the data they need from other platforms via the API. 1. Public API. Public APIs are often referred to as open APIs. As the name implies, public API is a type of API that anyone can use across platforms. Apart from that, this type of API is the easiest to use. You can simply register or take advantage of it directly in your application. For example, the API for Google Maps and the API for COVID Indonesia data, API for COVID Indonesia data. To private API, unlike the public API, the private API is the type of API that is not open to public use. Usually, this type of API is created for internal purpose in the development of certain uh, application. For example, the API from the back end is used to scan to front end website or application for mobile application development also read. Sorry. Or application for mobile application development. Also read backend developer uh, mean a 5 plus skill to master 3. API partners can be used for public purposes, but only the two who already have permission to ask them. As with public APIs, you need to register with an API provider first, then use it only in certain apps as per agreement. For example, the Pinterest API. For Composite API is an API that stores data from various servers or hosting in one place. Of course, it is very time saving for use that because user can various types of data in just one